Welcome to part 7 of PABCAB, the tutorial series where we briskly collect all badges in Phoenotopia Awakening. Last time, I made the mistake of passing too much judgment on my own commentary, and now I'm hoping to prove that I've learned better. How ironic that this is supposed to be a tutorial series, yet it's been a series of learning experiences. In this part, I will be backtracking from beyond the first wall all the way to Sphere. Starting with this area, where Bo will be waiting to offer his final course. Let me just get comfy here. So unlike the course in Cosette, this is a much simpler one. It may be kinda tight on the first run through, but with quick enough movement it's easy. And that's all for an energy gem. Pardon the clamor, I am recording in the early evening. The area near the statue qualifies as a bed, so that's 10 out of 13. Now I'm going to use this firewood here to spoil my neck tears. Just had to hydrate a bit there. Thinking about it, it's okay to repeat certain words. Like words that are commonly thrown around in the human lexicon, basically. This location is also important because it contains a lunar artifact. An easy way to get it is by doing a 3-tier ground level stack of sonic spears. That's the lunar goblet. Now I'm gonna go in here. Yeah, like the word now is what I would call a common one, for example. Like there's no need to beat myself up over frequent usage of such pedestrian words. I mean, as long as the point gets across, it doesn't matter what kind of rambling I do. That earlier was the penultimate time satisfying Mr. Planto. Now I'm going for an overworld encounter. Specifically, one with the flying scrapper. But the RNG does not seem to want to provide. Also, I'm surprised the Bogart's arrow made it that far. Whoa. Why did all those symbols spawn south of me? They're not gonna get me that way. There's the encounter. Goodness. I'd like to use the shrapnel from the spear bomb to draw the flying scrapper downward. then hit it with another spear bomb, but I didn't exactly demonstrate that properly. Oh well. The contingency worked out. In reality, I probably should have used the double crossbow. Oh well. Moving on to the last wall. First off, I'm gonna interact with this Wendigo Claw twice, so I could trade the fantasy novel for it. Here's bed number 11, with a complimentary roast bird. Speaking of which, the deluxe suite in E.D.E.N similarly offers a complimentary puff pastry. Now Ruby is kidnapped here after escaping from the dungeons. I try to claim that she's innocent, but she needs her diary to be acquitted. You can just do a one-bomb liftoff to get to this peak here and get that moonstone there. Next I'm going to talk to Wallace to initiate an energy gem side quest, and then to Hill to initiate a hard ruby side quest. I'll do the former side quest immediately, and then the latter will be progressive throughout the Scorchlands. One of Wallace's soldiers is hypnotized by a Miranda hologram. So I'm trying to snap him out of it by destroying the hologram. Just gonna... crud. Cheese my way to this battery over here. That's not a good idea. Take one of the batteries up here. I'll deal with it later. For now, take this one. Use it to shield myself from those mole mines, but it didn't exactly work out. Use the spear bomb to destroy that ghoul, the broken ghoul over there. And that's one of 3 generators. Again with the word and. What was I thinking? Man. Right, no self-awareness. Sorry about that. As I was saying, there's an alternative to anyway. It's easy to take shelter from those mole mines there, thankfully, on the way to that second generator. As for the third, it's in the upper right, and it's also the closest to the hologram that I have to destroy. I don't think that sonic spear was necessary. Let's see if I can... No. Tried to dunk it, didn't work. That worked though. Interesting up input. I guess the explosive Cobalt Blaster is more reliable for high shots like that. Anyway. Now that I've snapped this soldier out of his trance, he's gonna return to the last wall. And next I return there, I will be able to claim the energy gem. But not immediately. It's okay to get wild encounters here, because there's a mandatory one with the moonstone. I'm gonna take that way out because it's faster. It's gonna take a few encounters. And I'll touch upon it later. For now, off to this location. On the far right side, you'll find a wrecker. Dang, that thing got range. Interesting bounce. These sheets of bedrock can only be destroyed by the wrecker's slam attack. And the wrecker's explosion sequence too. So the point is to get the wrecker over here if it would stop being so slow. Just kidding, it's not that slow. It's doing its best. Okay, that's 2 sheets of bedrock broken. So now the next time this thing hits me, or the next time this thing does its slam attack will be the last. I kind of meant to start bouncing on this thing's head. Yeah, that's the ticket. And now I'm in here, the ancient GEO Base. Oh. In this area, there are 2 crystal lenses. They will have to be collected for the second antique pin in the route. Well, in the game, actually. Notice that the paintings have musical notes. Well, some of the paintings have musical notes behind them. Also, that's not how that works. More like that. The paintings with musical notes come into play in this energy gem puzzle here. This journal is also key in solving the puzzle. It refers to certain scenes depicted in the paintings, and one of them has the word twice, which means that you play the note in question twice, resulting in the following solution. In this lower left room here is another crystal lens. You have to destroy all the glowing ghouls, and the last one will drop a crystal lens. Throughout this area are enemies called Wendigos. They're unkillable and they camouflage like Mimitoads, except they're much more mobile. Please go. There. Thank you. Now that I'm done here, I'm gonna make my way over here. Destroy the rubble and the ghoul. Place the battery in this generator, and that bomb there will push the battery to the right. That'll allow me to move the battery to the other generator, which lowers the barricade leading to the room above here. And now this robot here has an ancient geo puzzle, but it's kind of broken, hence the crystal lenses. Hit the left one twice, the middle one once, the right one 3 times. There's a regular geo puzzle identical to that, funny enough. And that antique pin is the final collectible in this area. What would it hurt to save? I mean, there is some high-grade treachery ahead. Take 2. I did say there was some treachery ahead after all. If you heard a creak, that's because I was leaning forward and had to lean back. Well, for my sake anyway. Hopefully this attempt goes better than the previous. Not that that takes much. This room has two medium-sized Slargummies that are green. They have high defense and immense health pools. Kind of like the Slargummy in Subterra, despite being smaller in size. I'm gonna take a safety heal. Again, I should be fine as long as I have 2 packs of Nutrimeals in preparation for actually the Phalanx. That's what I've been meaning by the end game. Crud. There. I always fight as if I'm oblivious to that whip attack. That's why I've been doing so poorly. Yet they need the range because they're smaller, so... like... why do I not expect the whip attack when I keep my distance? Want to make sure I don't bathe too long in those pools of acid. I'm gonna take this encounter. Got it. Oh no, please, don't you freaking dare. Okay, good. I just didn't want the moonstone to fly off the screen, that's all. This location is home to the 10th lunar artifact in the route, if memory serves. It's just a matter of avoiding the turret's sights and... oh no. As in, not like that. Feels like only sometimes that happens when I toss sonic spears into the wall. Rather, that's actually the first time that's happened. Like, it doesn't happen in rehearsal, at least. Well, no, not the first time it's happened to me at all. Just, it doesn't usually happen, is what I'm saying. So that's the lunar artifact in question. Oh gosh. I want to make sure I don't get hit. Too much, at least. Now that I got the mandatory encounter, I needn't get any more here. Again, being cautious as I do. Going back through the Scorchlands, now that I have plenty of energy, I don't need a boosting item. I gotta get the Sonic Spear at a rather precise height, kinda like that. Like high enough to get to that wall there, but not too low. Or not too high, I meant. And then do a little roll clip into there, as it were. I don't know if clip is the right way to put it. I mean, it's certainly not like container clipping in the Flash game. Close call. If I didn't mention before, I'll be collecting dog tags throughout this area, so that when I return to the last wall, I can exchange them to Hild for a heart ruby. Again, taking a safety save. Ooh, that was tight. Gotta run away from these mole mines on the way to this dog tag. Make my way up, then to the right. The nice thing about the spear bomb is that you can make it explode wherever. Which helps for rubble below and above the line of fire. Now let's see if I can not embarrass myself here. That's better. You could take the battery and use it to climb from the right, but this way is faster if you do it right, which clearly it took me a while to do. In the center of this screen is another heart ruby. Next up is this area. Those are both hostile golems on the way to a dog tag. And a generator that mans a whole lot of cannons on this screen. You may have seen them during the Zero Trial run, if nothing else. Waiting out the stamina regen for a bit. Wasn't enough, apparently. I'm glad that jump made it. Honestly, the Spear Bomb and the Kobold Blaster are mostly interchangeable. I did not mean to fall off there. Whatever. I'll just go back as if nothing ever happened. Yet the fact remains that... Excuse me, you're supposed to detect me. Blind little crud. That's how you open the way to these boxes here. You only need 4 of the 5 to stack on the way to this glowing crate containing a moonstone. Hold up. What am I doing? I clearly forgot something. Like, I didn't even have to look at my notes to figure that out. In here, relocate this battery to here, and that powers the barricade just above. On the way to a dog tag. Duh. Now I can move on to the mall. Or the underground. I call it the mall like the entire place isn't a mall. And this place is a little canopy with a glowing box. Blah blah blah. In this room is a pool of acid with a dog tag at the end. Moving on to this area that's only accessible with the rocket boots. This dimly lit room has a moonstone at the end. At the end. At the end. Some of these are just statues, others are genuine ghouls. I used to think the ability to change directions while airborne with a spear was disorienting, but I think I've gotten a firmer grasp of it at this point. Used it a few times in that particular hallway. Now on to this metro with some Wendigos. In this train is a dog tag to the left. Ooh. Okay. Good. All I want is for those Wendigos to get out of the way. I said get out of the way! Doggone. Did you not, like, just hear me? I was hoping there would be a reward for destroying all these golem corpses at once. Alas, nothing. Back at Subterra, the first dungeon I visited while backtracking. Somehow that made it, wow. That didn't make it. I'll make sure I don't get hit by that gummy. This backtrack is the reason I lifted the barricade earlier. Like, way earlier. You get the picture. It's not entirely necessary to preserve energy at this point because the first collectible to get on this backtrack is this scenario here is the NPC to whom to give the strange urn. And he gives you a heart ruby in return. Notice these blocks of rubble? If I didn't have the rocket boots, I would have had to destroy those and raise the water level in order to get the floating platforms up to the top to allow passage. Just putting that out there. The key here is to draw the line back but not let it shake. Let it descend, deterring any ordinary fish along the way. To get this glowing fish, which holds a moonstone. I positioned myself on a particular part of this platform because if the moonstone falls left, it will sink and you won't be able to retrieve it until you, like, reload and fish the fish again. That covers it for this area. So I'm gonna head back to the Scorchlands. From where I stopped by here. The metro, that is. Do not enter. Maybe I will. Take that. Water break. I was trying to equip the Sonic Spear. And blow up the last golem corpse, just for funsies. Uh-oh. Oh well, that worked out. About that bus, if you destroy the golem corpses and then take another 2 trips, on the second of those 2 trips, the golem corpses will respawn. Just FYI. That should be the last dog tag. Let me make sure of that. Yep. And I should have... oh no. I'm short 1 golem core. So... let me try to find another. Just like that. How lucky. That's for a Moonstone side quest at the last wall. If I didn't have the Survivalist badge already, this is where I would farm for it. But clearly I do. Making my way back through Mul Caverns. The same way I came in. Do a little bomb jump, or slope jump there. I mean, bomb jump is not wrong, but also not accurate. Hover from the red gem to the green gem. Do another slope jump. Because not only do those slope jumps, not only are they faster than climbing up with the Sonic Spear, but also they conserve energy a bit. I'm gonna play it a bit safe with that. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, this Heart Ruby is clearly inspired by Donkey Kong, the arcade game. Simple stuff. I was hoping to get that damageless. But then I don't remember the jingle for clearing a level in the DK arcade game. Whereas the death noise I remember all too well. Going into this little cave here, full of spiky spikes, a few E.D.E.Ns to destroy. On the way to a sack containing a moonstone. Again, simple stuff. Next I'm gonna make my way back to Ariadne and finally get my revenge on her. Epic. Nice aim. Can't even be mad at that. Gonna wait out these bombiads while also waiting out my energy regen. Get these dartiads out of the way. Kinda like the last time I backtracked through here. Except, like, not that badly. That should do it. I don't usually just, like, not have enough energy. Again, gonna wait out the regen. Fire 3, crossbow rounds up to the upper right. I can get 2 more off at this point. Let her move. Do some airball, couple of blaster shots like that. That biting attack is fierce. One way to avoid it, well, the common way to avoid it is like this. I like to get the Thorniads out of the way ASAP. They can be annoying otherwise. When Ariadne faces you, that's a sign that she's going to do the roar and summon new E.D.E.Ns. If the Acidiads and Thorniads are out there, then she summons the Bombiads and vice versa. I suppose when she gets stunned, the more hits she takes, the more likely she is to snap out of it. Gonna take a safety heal while I can. When she points her butt at you, that's a sign that she's gonna shoot acid or webbing, depending on what color her core glows. Webbing kinda sucks. Just gonna summon new E.D.E.Ns. Ah, nice. That's that fight taken care of. For a heart ruby. Also, that was dumb. Somehow I pulled that off first try. Every attempt in my rehearsal required multiple, required at least one mulligan, rather, is what I mean to say. Back in here. Gonna toss the Sonic Spear this way. And then bat a bomb into here. for one of the most subtle moonstones in the game. Speaking of subtle moonstones, if you feed that dragon snare there, it's gonna rotate the hive on its right. And if the hive in question is rotated enough, it'll reveal a passage. I'm really trying, okay? That should do it. See here the bombable mouth of the hive. And that leads to this underground area, in which the original Mul Caves theme plays. Well, Mul Cavern it was called back then. First I'm going to deep dive over here, do a slope jump, make sure I do a full jump there, I tend to forget that. Do some conservative movement around here, just because. This room is full of Mimitoads, but they're easy enough to avoid if you just move. And I think the Mimitoads only appear after you get the energy gem. All the more reason to ignore them. Do a similar deep dive back. And there's another collectible on the opposite wing. The fastest movement through the water is to dash and then jump. However, it uses up a lot of energy. So I'm going to be semi-conservative here, because the next collectible will require energy. Might as well grab this gold dragon scale along the way. It'll be useful for the recycler badge later on. That's where to deep dive. Use the second background set of roots as a visual cue. Crud. I was just barely not conservative enough. Oh well. Another slope jump. Crud. Well, sorry to say that Redhead Gill is no longer on the menu. Oopsie. Now this dreaded room. I'm actually going to cheese it. Like this. You get precise shots like this, then 4 of them knock the moonstone out of its hidey hole. You could also use a bomb to do a slope jump. I mean, if you're at high enough a level, because I kind of discarded the spear that was high enough. This do? Nope, too low. Just trying to demonstrate here. Will that do? Gotta avoid that. Or not. Like, I'll just get exploded by it, whatever. You know what, this is what I'm supposed to do. Just like I did before. The game clearly does not want me to demonstrate this. about here. No, it's not. A little more. Man, this is embarrassing. There! That's what I wanted to demonstrate. Finally did it. Because I have no clue how to do this room the intended way. Like, supposedly you gotta get these Thorniads to spawn. Then they do something or other. Some of them spawn to the left, but for the life of me, I cannot get any of those to bypass this little thing here. Or, like, do anything useful. So I just cheese it. That's how I operate. I don't need to save to heal because there's a save point nearby. However, I will take the safety save. Not that I expect to die in this room, just, you know, safety first, as they say. The point of this room is to coax the mole mines into hives like this. Because the passageways here are barely too thin for the sonic spear. So you can't just spear bomb them. Gonna get those little sacks out of the way because the mole mines stop at them and explode. Sorry, Jellyfly. I didn't mean to. I promise. I have an unintentional habit of killing innocent animals. You want to have the Sonic Spear equipped before grabbing this energy gem, because of the gripe I keep having about not being able to change equipment while the energy gem or heart ruby sequence does its thing. That slope jump there is very convenient. Take another safety save, this time a more reasonable one. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You line yourself up right at the end of this log here, and that allows you to hit the sack containing the moonstone. That's not the right way. I think I've taken that wrong turn before in a rehearsal, and I just never learn sometimes. Gotta carefully avoid the mutant snares. Oof. Gonna take the hit in order to get to this quick mushroom. I could technically slope jump there, but it's too risky. Rather just stick to what I know. In this labyrinth, you'll find that that there are some passages that are merely background elements. And you can tell which ones because the Thorniads pass through them, as opposed to the counterpart in Pristine City, where you have to turn the lights on and off. Once you know the path, it's simple. Of course I have to take damage after I get the Heart Ruby. That just figures. I should probably be more conservative here, because I'm taking this path again. See, if you hit those bombiads with, like, anything at all, they just explode. So might as well go with the weakest / easiest hit. This room also contains a moonstone. First, I'm gonna push that crate down there. Then I'll take one of the boxes. Yes, just one. Carry it over there. And then I'll do a lift off up to here. Easy peasy. There are 2 boxes in this room because you're supposed to have to stack 2, but again, you know the speed strat, why settle for anything else? Rather, why settle for less? Make sure these Dartiads are out of the way. I don't know if those green ones are actually called Acidiads. Just Thorniads, Dartiads, Bombiads, and Miniads. Did I refer to them as Thorniads during the maze segment? If so, that was an error on my part. But like, the green ones are the ones I don't commit to memory. There. The ones I don't commit to memory. Honestly, I prefer to call them literal crappers. Because they crap out acid. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Gonna try to get a Cobalt Blaster round into the center of that hive. Might take a while. There! And that destroys all the E.D.E.Ns in it. Nah, but like, I think more casually I call them acid spewers. Or green beetles. Just like any name other than their official name. Because I don't know it. Again, it's the one out of all 5 that I did not commit to memory. I want to go ahead and destroy the blocks of rubble on the left there for backtracking purposes. In this room, there's a moonstone on the far left. I'm going to be destroying rubble in preparation. In cooperation with the Bombiads, partly. I don't think that leaping hover was necessary, but I like caution, is all I'm saying. Crud. It would have been preferable if the Bombiad there had stayed to the right while I was able to fire the slingshot and have it destroy the rubble. Catch my drift? Please spawn left. That's your punishment for spawning right. Now the stage is set. Not sorry. so I can make my way left in preparation for the upper E.D.E.N to the upper mini-E.D.E.N specifically to give me that moonstone. Illogically, these bomb-E.D.E.Ns respawn when you destroy them. This is a dark area and I'm going to be taking a lot of damage, but it's all worth it for the sake of speed. So I can do a slope jump straight to this energy gem. And take more damage while making my way out. I'm normally a cautious individual, but this is like the one exception. Like in the current patch, it's simple enough to Leroy Jenkins that room. I meant to say pardon the clamor earlier. My parents were being particularly loud. Despite how reticent I am, I have a noisy family. Can you not? Stupid crap. Jeez, that has to be the unluckiest red symbol ever. Making my way here to Ocean Cliffs. That was an unnecessary save. Just a force of habit from practicing. Find the shark down here. Wait. How? How did that happen? I didn't even notice until it was too late. Until I was just getting settled. Let me try again. Like, as far as I thought, the shark was grabbing it. I have no clue how the gourmet fish was doing it. Like, just somehow stepped in. Out of nowhere, as far as I'm concerned. It's so weird. Finally got the moonstone. The timing for that is at most 3 shakes. Maybe 2 is more optimal. Interesting little movement there. Now I'm going back through Sphere to obtain most of the collectibles in that area. Definitely want a safety save here. The backtrack is not nearly as bad as the first way through. Now that I have this Feralis, I can disable the megaliths. Also do a liftoff over here to get to this part of the area easier. Whereas the intended way is to travel farther right. Or actually just climb to the canopy doing simple stuff like that. I like to take the time to disable this megalith here, just for a bit of recuperation. Like the usual stuff. Throughout this area, I'll be collecting 3 bunny figurines, along with 1 moonstone. This way's quick, and also has an astral lunch, has an extra safety heal. First, at this point, I want to disable these megaliths. Toss the sonic spear to the right of that platform. That leads me here, where I have another megalith to disable. And voila! Bunny figure number 2. Now I'm gonna get as high as I can to get to this sonic spear, and all the way up here, fire the double crossbow until I hear the moonstone fall. Basically just twice. It's on that canopy there. That's my strategy for that. Might as well scoop up this Miranda. Wait out these flying scrapper cycles. Sick the moth mines after them, as I do. Oh, crap. Apparently they don't want to cooperate. Those darn moth mines just... No, those darn flying scrappers just don't want to descend to the right. To the right height. Not one of them. I was hoping at least one of them would. I can make short work of this megalith by playing this for Alice. Not have to roll dice with them. Thank goodness. Do another lift off here for bunny figurine number 3. Then I might as well take my time and clear out these scrappers here. Remember, scrapper is 1 letter short of crapper. But too bad they're not literal crappers like the green E.D.E.Ns. I still don't know what they're called. Play it safe here. That covers it for the environmental area. At least to the west of Pristine City. Cautious save. This is the last location where Mr. Planto is. Plot twist, he's a robot. Now that I've satisfied him every time, I get an energy gem in return. Excuse me. Jeez. Bed number 12 is in here. Leaning back again. It really does help to rehearse. Like between the first try Ariadne and actually knowing the route. It just works. I'm talking rehearsal like dress rehearsal, as in doing a rehearsal just before recording, know what I mean? That just earlier was bunny figurine number 4. Now I'm going back through E.D.E.N. Do a hover at about that height to avoid the porcubots. Mosey on over here first. Frick. Try and cheese my way around this thing. That works. Rather mosey. It's not exactly cheese. I tend to throw the term cheese around unwittingly, because I use it a lot. Like I did so in the previous part too, when I was referring to Block C of Adar's Vault. Now finally, I'm retrieving the crystallus that I have been leaving since I came here. Or like, abandoning. Using as a means of getting to Grasso's basement. And now that I've taken it, the trolls are attacking. Honestly, this is very lucky. They never usually stay on the platform. And when they do stay on the platform, they're innocuous. Also, it's very convenient that, like, if you get caught up in their sling and you bounce off them, then you get instantly freed. And guess what? Not only are there trolls, but there are also harpies. These harpies are weak to the Cobalt Blaster. But the double crossbow does okay damage too. I'll be seeing a lot more of these throughout Orantia, a later location in the game. Well, technically you can visit it at any time, but only if you've obtained the Moon Crystal from Fran, which honestly I haven't yet. But that's most likely the first place you'll encounter those things. Not only the harpies, but also the trolls. Gonna take a moment to recuperate. I was going to hydrate, but now I don't care to. Climb my way out of here. Getting a good Sonic Spear throw here is particularly vital. As otherwise, or as doing otherwise can lead you to deep crud. That covers it for the C block. I'm gonna save often as I do. Moving on to the A block. I'll be visiting the mushroom-shaped tower on the minimap, because it contains a heart ruby. That was some interesting navigation there. I did this wrong. Well, what does it matter? It's just one extra shot. The puzzle here is you move the laser shooters with up and down, and then use the center node to fire. In the second and third puzzles, you're going to have to sacrifice the turtle bots along the way. In the first puzzle, it's not necessary. And in fact, kinda slow. guess the third puzzle is the only one where you can afford for one of the shooters to miss. So that's pretty simple stuff. Moving on to the D block. Have a little moth mine, or mole mine course. Ah, no, I screwed it up. Let me just reset the room. Pretend like nothing ever happened. You want to get the mole mines to run on separate paths. This sort of configuration is preferred, although the inverse works too. It's tighter. Makes for a rather quick moonstone there. Moving on up here. Use this for Alice to move the laser shooters around. I should have played left like way earlier. This is, again, pretty simple stuff. This switch here disables the traps so that you can fall down here with impunity. Lastly, I'm going to visit the F block. Take the one path that absolutely requires all 7 Crystallis. Ooh, I almost forgot to... move the conveyor belt. Getting one of the pots past these lasers is the hard part. Although they fire in a sort of waltz rhythm, so once they've already fired 2, they'll pause. That's the way to do that. The rest is a cinch by comparison. And the reward, a moonstone. Of course. It's happened multiple times over in rehearsal, so of course it's gonna happen in your recording. I really tried for that. That didn't work. I genuinely tried to KO that thing. Alright. Not my intended target, but I'll take what I can get. Not that it really did anything. Good riddance. Kind of frustrating right there. Didn't expect to run into so much trouble with that thing. This room is easy enough to speed through. So it's kind of like the... oh gosh. The energy gem north of Mul Caves in that sense. Except it's actually easier to speed through. However, it's plain to see that I didn't quite do it right. Wow. How did that hit me? Can you not? Stay down there. Sorry for the leaning back noises. Definitely want to save there because as if the E.D.E.N blocks weren't bad enough. This is where the real treachery begins. That is after I scoop up the remaining Bunny figurines. Another simple path through the invisible maze. I don't know why I keep failing to go under at running speed. By the way, if you complete this quest in one save file, then reload and you're in the same place, then he may be locked into saying... he may be locked into saying, I said I won't repeat myself thrice. To fix this, you go into the overworld and then reload the save. Really had to hydrate for a moment there. Totally needed that. Anyway, notice these posters here? The one on the right says that the arrows are pointing to the white node, which means you read the poster on the left as if the... or you read the poster on the left pointing towards the white node, which means from top to bottom, right to left. Kind of like traditional Japanese writing. And so the solution is this. It was designed differently and had a different solution in earlier patches. And of course, once I'm done with all these figurines, I turn them into that robot to get an energy gem from it. That should be number 30. Lastly, I'm going to make my way over here. Disable these megaliths. Use my other 4 crystallis to open this path. Technically you can get here with as few as 6, but that's unimportant to this route. Now this part is kind of like Bow's free running, except more dangerous. Basically. Gonna be cautious here. And that's all for the 11th lunar artifact, the lunar key. The first of multiple collectibles in this area. That area is always so inconsistent. Like, there's never any guarantee that I can get through it unscathed. That one, on the other hand, is a cinch. There's a moonstone in the glowing pot up there, but I won't get to it until the backtrack. For now, I'm going to disable this megalith. Climb up here with a lift off. And that'll allow me to bypass this part of the area. With a long enough hover. Then I'll go ahead and disable, well, oh. I don't know why I was confused that that megalith wasn't taking anything, but like I wasn't playing the proper notes. So I'm going to go ahead and disable those two megaliths, then I'm going to cheese my way to destroying the megalith up there by stacking 2 bombs, then playing as many Spherolis notes as I can before they explode. While I'm at it, I'll disable this megalith. Wait, do I really need that much height? Yes, I do. Maybe I don't need enough for a liftoff, but again, better safe than sorry. Now I'll disable these 2 megaliths for the sake of backtracking. Because I've made it to the final screen, which contains a heart ruby. There's a whole lot of nothing beyond it. Beyond it. Whole lot of nothing beyond it. Just making sure I make that clear. Thanks to all that I did to facilitate the backtrack. Speaking of which, you want to press yourself right up against this wall, otherwise you trigger these things, which deposit mole mines and moth mines, as I recall. Not forget to throw the sonic spear there, unless liftoff. Now a good audio cue for this part is to wait until it beeps twice, like so. And climb up while it's exploding. That makes for a quick moonstone. Oh. That was close. Heck. Guess I didn't take that quickly enough. Anyway, I'm done here, so let me not overstay my welcome. Not only there in that environmental area, but nearly also in Sphere as a whole. I will have to get back here to collect Moonstone number 111 and defeat the Phalanx. But that's another story for another time. But man, I feel like I lucked out this time around. I don't usually take that few attempts to do this entire segment. Like, I think the only time I died was against the green Slargummies beyond the last wall. I'm gonna end things here, so progress report. 46 heart rubies, 30 energy gems, 104 moonstones. I have 10 fish, which doesn't really matter because either way I'll be getting the rest of the fish next part. Got my fair share of overworld encounters. Almost done with the beds and the journals. That's about it to report. Until the next part.